welcome to the Inspired Choices Network TV show. I am your host, Christine McIver. We have a great guest for you today. We have Danella Hesler. Danella Hesler is a Mitzvah Technique Teacher, and we're talking today about the magic of movement. So welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks. Great to be here.
Great. So I'm so glad you came. Now, Danella, let's talk a little bit about your journey, your history. You were born and raised in Ontario?
I was born and raised in Ontario, born in Hamilton, actually, in Steel City. Then I grew up in Dunnville, a little dinky town south, near the lake.
Beautiful.
And my dad was a doctor down there, so I got to see lots of people in pain and agony, and they would tell me this, because sometimes I would work in his office, and they would say, "Oh, you know, my leg really hurts," and I'd say, "Oh, I got nothing to do with it," but I don't know, I got all this information, so.
So you worked in your dad's office. So what kind of a doctor, first of all, was your dad?
Just a general practitioner.
Okay, and what did you do in his office to begin with? Were you like the receptionist?
Yeah, when in the summers when his secretary went on holiday, I would take over the office, or we would take turns, my brothers and I. It wasn't our favorite job because we got to listen to everybody tell us how sick they were before, so we were like the preliminary, you know, if we could pre-diagnose for them, I guess, or I don't know what it was weird.
But they like to tell their story.
They like to tell their story, and so I realized, yeah, over time, people just like to tell me their stories, especially about pain and agony, but I had my own pain and agony, so I was like,
you weren't that interested?
I wasn't that interested because I couldn't do anything about my own problems.
So you had your own issues that you were dealing with, physical issues that you were dealing with?
Yeah, very, very severe sciatic pain after my daughter was born, and then a wall fell on my head at work.
Wow.
And so I had no mobility left in my neck, couldn't turn it from left to right. This was the maximum mobility I had. And I went to lots of people, and it would loosen up for a little bit, like a couple hours, and then it would come back just as bad, if not worse.
Wow.
And so that severe pain was just constant.
And how long did that go on for? Like how long were you?
About 4 years.
4 years of that kind of pain?
Yeah.
And you tried all sorts of doctors, all sorts of
I went
holistic?
Yeah.
You went the whole route?
I tried shiatsu, I tried Reiki, quite a lot of things, chiropractic, and they all did a little bit.
Right.
But until
Nobody got to the root.
Nobody got to the root until I went for a mitzvah session.
Okay, so tell us about mitzvah and where that all began.
So mitzvah technique is something that was created by Nehemiah Cohen, and he came to Canada around 1970.
Where was he from?
He was from Israel originally, and
was he a doctor, or?
He was actually a dancer in a group of Israeli dancers called the Imbal Dance. So they would do traditional Israeli dance, and he was in a summer camp that I was in when he first came to Canada. So small world, I didn't realize what he was doing at the camp. But very famous people would come and see him, and everybody would say, well, all these famous people come and see him, and then they feel better. And I said, well, like, what's he doing? I need to know what he's doing, because people look, I could see all these very famous actors from Stratford and this Toronto Symphony. I paid attention to this stuff in the newspaper, so I knew who they were.
Okay.
And they seemed to look a lot better after they'd been to see him. So I talked to his wife a lot, and then at the end of summer, everybody went home and off. And many years later, I saw this little advertisement for a mitzvah technique, and I thought, now that might be the thing that gets rid of my pain. So I called them the next day. I went. And indeed, it got rid of my pain.
And was this gentleman the one that you were going to see?
Yes.
Wow.
So I saw him and I saw his wife. And they taught me certain things, very bad habits that I was doing, like crossing my legs was causing more pain in my back. Things like slouching were causing more problems. There weren't computers around then, so you didn't have that.
Yes. like we have today.
Yeah, like we have today with all the necks sticking out and
Yes.
the really poor posture. But the things I was doing were causing incredible pain in my body, and they were causing incredible stress, where I just thought if I kept pushing through it, I could ignore it, but I couldn't. It got to a point where I
Just kept getting
couldn't.
louder and louder. And you're a working woman.
Working
You have
mom.
2 children.
Yeah.
You're trying to manage all of this, and you're doing it through
Pain, excruciating pain.
excruciating pain. I was going to say, but I can't even say the word. Pain that had you stop, but you didn't actually stop.
Yes, I should have stopped, because when I look back at that time now, the pain was so bad. I don't know how I even got out of bed most days.
Is that right? But you
Yeah,
did.
I did.
So you go to see this gentleman, and he starts to do the mitzvah technique on you.
Yes. So it's done 2 ways. There's exercises, and then there's body work that's done on a massage table. So the body work is very gentle, and it's about moving your body to the place where it has comfort. If your body won't let that happen, then it's not going to be a place of comfort, and it's not about pushing it past pain, because there's no place past pain except more pain.
Oh, I like the way you said that.
So it's very gentle movement. It's like, oh, we'll just take your arm and we'll do this kind of thing. We'll just stretch it out a little bit. Do some very gentle things to let everything all through your shoulder and down to your back and right to your legs start to learn how to let go.
So if you have a pinched nerve or you have something that's out of alignment, this gentle type movement can
Yeah.
actually change all of that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us about you. So you go to him. Did he work on did you lay down on the massage table? Did he work on you then?
Yep, for an hour. And I went 3 times a week, every week for many months, because I was really a big fat mess. I was just bad.
What was it like for you after the first session?
The first session I went home and I slept the entire night, which I hadn't done in years. In years, I had not really. If I moved at night, I would then wake up and have to find another place that had less pain, which was difficult.
So never
because I didn't know where
pain-free,
that
but-
was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to him. Did he integrate the exercising of mitzvah then at that
Yep.
some point?
So after every session I would have with either him or Malka, his wife, I would learn another exercise. Half of them I couldn't even do. There was one, it was just so simple, and I watched 80-year-old women do this, and I thought, well, that can't be that hard, and I couldn't do it.
And how old were you at this time?
38.
So you were beyond an 80-year-old what they could do.
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't bend my legs as well as most of the 80-year-olds that were going in there,
That's amazing. Wow.
but I can now.
But you can now. So after you've been going to him, when did you start to take the training?
About a year later, so I kept going for sessions so that I felt that the more knowledge I had in my own body about how to let go of stress, the more I could learn. Sorry.
Right. So when you are going and you're starting to realize, hey, there's something big here.
Oh, big.
And did you have your own business at that time, or were you working for someone else?
I had many things going on. I was a chef. I'd been a chef. So I was doing cooking demonstrations for Panasonic. I was doing demos for Brita. I was doing demos for about 5 different companies.
Okay.
And so I had 5 part-time jobs all over the city. And
All over Toronto,
I was
yeah.
everywhere.
Right.
And I also taught cooking classes in the
Okay.
evening. So I was busy.
You
And
were
it was
busy.
hard. It was hard and heavy work. I carried loads of stuff.
So at what point, so a year after starting this, you decided to begin the training.
Yeah.
How long was the training to learn all of this?
They call it a 3-year class, but it's really more like an apprenticeship. So it's when you actually have what they call a quality of hands that you graduate. So it might be 4 years. I've never seen anybody do it less than 3, but I was there just over 3.
Just over 3 years. And then did you have clients right away, or how did you kind of get into doing this? Because you're no longer doing the chef work.
part-time and going to school part-time, and yeah,
You were doing
things
both of
work
those.
so that I could financially pay my bills and
Right.
manage to go to school and do everything I needed to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so when did you start your business? When did you start taking clients?
Nehemia was very generous. So about the first year I was there, he said, you know, there's some people here who really can't afford our prices, but if you charge them $20, you're good. You're not good enough, but you're good enough to work with them, and then they can come to us maybe every couple of months.
Okay.
So he gave me clients, and then I was like
You were
out
starting.
of the gate.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go for a quick break.
Okay.
And when we get back, we're going to continue to hear all about this mitzvah technique and the magic of movement. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Have you thought about bringing your voice to the world? Are you looking to have a global platform that you can connect with? At Inspired Choices Network, we create an opportunity for you to bring your voice each and every week to a global platform. We support you, we train you, we bring your podcast out to more than 50 platforms. We are a network of building a community where we're bringing conscious voices to the world. If you're looking to have more of an opportunity, if you're looking to bring what you know to the world, do connect with us. You can contact us at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, or you can send an email to becomingahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. We'll have a conversation and we'll show you what truly is possible. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with Danella Hesler. We're talking about the magic of movement. So just before we went to commercial break, you're talking about you've just gotten started, you started to get clients.
Yes.
And you were doing that part-time.
Part-time and still doing my cooking demos part-time. And then I had this crazy idea to move way up north. Well, what seemed way up north to me,
Yes.
north of Belleville into the little area called El Dorado. And I found a house up there, and it was really cool, and it's on the river. It's really beautiful. And so I gave up all my jobs.
Okay.
And now I had to make mitzvah work. I had to make this happen. And that taught me how to really get really good at promotional stuff. So I went to dog sled races, and I worked on people with snowsuits on, and I went to, you know, the weight loss clinics, and I taught people exercises there. And I started exercise classes all over the place, Peterborough and Trenton, Belleville, Tweed, Madoc, Marmara.
Wow.
So I rotated around those towns constantly and eventually built up quite a good clientele.
So you must have been, in addition to needing the money,
Yes.
you must have been really motivated with what you had learned.
Oh yeah, it excited me so much because the amount of pain I had and that I now had next to nothing, most days absolutely nothing, unless I over gardened those days, you know.
Right.
But that just had me so excited because I would walk through those villages and see so many people in so much pain, and I would think that they just don't know that I'm here, and they need to know I'm here. So I was in the newspaper. I was there was a
You were doing what was required to get out there.
Yeah, everything that I could think of to make this work, I did it.
Right.
And now
But
I'm
there
so busy.
You're so busy now. But there must have been something within you that, you know, not only did they not know you were there, but they didn't know that there was another possibility for their bodies.
Absolutely.
Just like you didn't know.
Yeah, just like I didn't know, because I went to the doctor complaining about this pain, and he said take a pain pill, which I couldn't take. So, and the side effects of the things he gave me were things I definitely didn't want to have, so I didn't take that stuff. But I think the majority of people, when you get in pain, your brain just doesn't think about, are there other options? Is there something that can undo this? Is there some choice that I can figure out, or am I doing something that causes more pain than I've ever knew that I was doing to myself?
Right. No, good point. So let's talk about the magic of movement.
Sure.
Why is movement magic? Because
when you see people who can't move, and then suddenly they can, they will say to me, wow, this is like magic. This is amazing, because I didn't think I would ever get the mobility back in my arm, or that I would be able to sit in a chair without pain. So it is magical to watch people gain this mobility and flexibility over time.
Yeah, I'm sure that it is, especially you know that
Yes.
because you were personally there.
Yeah.
So when people are, let's say somebody isn't in pain,
Right.
but they are sitting in a job all day long.
Yeah.
They're sitting at a computer, or they're, I think of truck drivers, they're sitting for long periods of time, or they're standing in the same position for long periods of time. What is happening to our bodies? Are our bodies like basically seizing up?
Yeah, especially in those places where people are doing continually repetitive movement, whether it's standing or sitting or at computers, that repetitive thing starts to lock the body into that particular shape. So when people are at a computer, eventually they have a neck like this.
Yes.
Or when they're standing, they start to have a lot of stiffness in their hips or their knees. And so, we have all these people with replacement parts because they didn't know how to do those jobs without causing pain.
Okay. So is there something that you're teaching people? Like, do you do work in advance before we start to get to that space of being in so much pain, or are you really, the majority of your business really about responding to people in pain?
Mostly it's people in pain. I do try to do the exercise classes so people understand that it's about posture. So when I used to advertise Mitzvah, of course, nobody knew what that was.
Yes.
But when I advertised Improve Your Posture class, almost everybody understood that they didn't have good posture.
Okay.
So I had a wide range of people in classes. I had people from the age of 16 up to 94. The most competitive women I ever saw were the 94-year-olds. Holy, wow, that was a class.
That's a time to look forward to.
Yeah.
So you're doing these classes. What else are you doing? I know you have a wide variety of things that you're doing because you do a lot of other health things as well.
I do a lot of other health things. So we also have radionics, which is on my website, which I'm not going to explain here.
Right.
And just and remedies, herbal remedies for people, because sometimes when our body has been that stressed, things have gotten stuck there. So to get drainage happening so that your liver can clean out, your kidneys can clean out.
Right.
A lot of stress leaves the body just from doing those things too. But
Right.
I was doing those things when I went for mitzvah, so maybe that's why it helped so
easily
fast.
moved. Yeah, and you were able to offer this in your what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you have an event coming up. I wanted to share with everybody. Can you
Yeah.
tell us about this new event?
So I had this crazy idea one morning. I woke up and I thought, wow, people always talk about their inner child. And you hear this a lot. Oh, my inner child, my inner child. Well, I thought, what about your inner granny? Because everybody must have an inner granny if they have an inner child. And it doesn't mean that you're learning how to be a grandma, because people are thinking, well, I'm a grandma, I should come to this class. No, it's for anybody, because if you have an inner child, you also have an inner granny who kind of might encourage you or discipline you or say, what the heck are you doing? But your inner child's like, yeah, I want to do crazy stuff. And so you go off and do crazy stuff, and then you pay for that, but your inner granny didn't tell you that wasn't a good idea.
Okay. So we're going to come to this class. Is it a one-day class?
It's a one-day class in May 4th.
May 4th.
In my little home in El Dorado.
Okay. And we're going to learn how to tap into our inner granny.
Yeah,
I think this sounds like a fun class.
I think so.
So where can people get in contact with you? What's your website?
My website is www.mitzvah, that's mitzvah.ca.
And people can reach out to you, see all the services that you offer,
Yep.
and learn more about the magic of movement
Yep.
With what you're doing.
Absolutely.
That sounds fantastic. Well, I can tell you that your daughter, Melitza, also does mitzvah, and
Yep.
she and you have done mitzvah for me with my body, and my body loves it. I often explain it to people. It's kind of like massage and chiropractor together.
Yeah,
Because it's so gentle.
One lady said it's like having yoga done to you.
Yes.
I said, oh, that's a good one. I could put that on my little.
Yeah, because it is so gentle. It often surprises me how much pain I'm in, and the work is so gentle. What you both do,
Yes.
that I'm late every single time. I'm thinking, there's no way, and I get up and I'm like, oh my gosh, they did it again.
Well, the surprising thing is, too, sometimes you think a certain part hurts, but you don't realize how much of the rest of your body is trying to bring balance to that. So it also hurts. We're just aware of what seems to be the most critical area.
Most critical. That's wonderful. Well, it's definitely something that I will continue to choose. It's fabulous. Thank you so much for being here, Danella.
Thank you.
So if you would like to learn more about Danella, please do check out her website, mitzvah.ca, and be sure and come to the granny class. How many of us actually could use a granny in our lives? So stay tuned next week. We will have another inspiring guest here on the Inspired Choices Network TV. Take care for now.